Hey, I'm Amanda from Trifecta Fitness. We're proud to be Clarksville's new Get Fit headquarters. Trifecta Fitness is a state-of-the-art spin and strength training studio. Our spin studio is truly one of a kind in this area, complete with 20 state-of-the-art live fitness bikes and an incredible sound system. Our strength training is done in small groups of 6 or fewer, and all of our strength and spin classes are scalable for every level of experience. Come see us in the heart of Clarksville, just behind MAPCO at the corner of Old Trenton Road and Wilma Rudolph Boulevard. Call us for more info at 931-542-6265 or download our Trifecta Fitness app for a full list of upcoming classes.
For every veteran, there is a story about a calling to serve, to fight for the freedoms of the American people. And every story has a struggle, a sacrifice, and invisible wounds. Warrior Watts programs help veterans recover from PTSD and invisible wounds through exercise, nutrition, and connecting with other veteran leaders. It is estimated that 22 veterans die each day by suicide, and another 30 veterans die each day by substance abuse. These are preventable deaths. Warrior Watt is committed to fighting PTSD through fitness, nutrition, and community.
All right. Welcome back.
Misfit Nation. Misfit Nation. The Misfit Nation Show.
We are a show founded by a veteran and hosted by 2 veterans and a military spouse. Our mission is to get people to tell their stories to the world. If you're an author, share your tips with the Misfit Nation. If you're a musician or an actor, our audience needs to know how they too can get into the business. Coaches. We love our coaches. Come on and share your tips with the Misfit Nation to help them become better versions of themselves. If you are a corporate leader or an entrepreneur, come on and show how you did it and how hard you have fought for success. If you are a veteran, first responder, or Gold Star family, we would love to have you come on and share your story with the Misfit Nation. We always have time for you. If you're feeling down, alone, or starting to see the darkness, Stop. Think about those who are around you. You are not alone. You will be missed. If you feel like your problems will be a burden to those in your inner circle or feel embarrassed, dial 988. If you are a veteran, take option 1. We need you to keep pushing forward. Don't make a permanent solution to a temporary problem. If you are a new listener, welcome to the Misfit Nation Show. Be sure to subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast app. Also on our YouTube channel at @the_Misfit Nation. Subscribe and click the bell to keep you up to date on our latest episodes and all of our news. You can also find us on Heroes Media Group and About Face Radio. Now, let's get to the show!
All right. The ToosDay Crue is here, hosted by Stephen LaMonica and Jake Collin. It is a Misfit Nation production that brings powerful stories of grit, resilience, and leadership to life. Stephen is a business leader and YouTube consigliere. He ensures the show runs smoothly, providing real-time feedback and maintaining discipline during live broadcast. Jake, a 25-year Army veteran and former EOD tech. We call him Hurt Locker. We call him Lacey. Offers deep insights from his extensive service, which includes multiple combat deployments and VIP missions around the globe. Together, they welcome guests from diverse backgrounds to share their journeys, inspiring listeners with stories of overcoming adversity and leading with purpose. Whether you're tuning in for the insightful discussions or to enjoy Stephen's passion for NASCAR or Jake's anecdotes from his farm in Kentucky, the ToosDay Crue delivers a unique blend of entertainment and inspiration every week. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ToosDay Crue! All right. Welcome back to Tuesday. As darkness spreads across the land, everyone is settling in for the evening. You look to the skies and see, we all see the same mother-loving sky.
And I pause to think of a day not long ago, like 30 hours ago to be precise. I witnessed some amazing feat. I looked up to my left and I could see a majestic bird chowing on a deer carcass. It then looked up at me, spread its wings, and launched in the air. All I could see is America as the bald eagle flew off. And I thought, hell, that is freedom. And you tonight have that freedom to hang out with Cagney, to hang out with Lacey. So pull down those shoulder straps and enjoy the ToosDay Crue. Let's go, boys!
Thank you, Rich.
Good evening, everybody.
Thank you. How you doing, Stephen?
Welcome. I am good. How are you?
I am good. Mrs. Holland whipped me up a batch of baked pork chops and sauerkraut and potatoes, and my belly's full, and I'm happy. And I got to spend the whole day with her, so that was a joy. It's been a good day. How about you?
Got up, did my usual Tuesday routine, and shave my head, shave my face, get ready for the show.
Nice.
I'm in an empty house. They're both working, so it's just me and you.
That is a good looking dome you got there, bud.
Nice and shiny today.
I noticed you must watch a lot of NASCAR, because when I saw you take a drink a while ago, you made sure and turned toward the camera so we could see what you were drinking.
Yeah, you have to see the Coke label.
You got to see the Coke label when you take a drink.
That always, you have to have the sponsor there.
Yes. We'd like to welcome everybody in the Misfit Nation that is out there watching tonight. Again, like we mentioned in the intro, if you're out there, if you're feeling the darkness, today was a better day because you were in it, and tomorrow will be a better day because you're in it too. If you're feeling the darkness, get on the phone, hit 988, take option 1. There's somebody there that'll talk to you. If you don't want to call that, reach out through our message board here on the show, and I'll send you my phone number. I got all night. I'll talk to you all night, or I'll listen to you all night.
Go to the webpage, grab our emails, do what you gotta do.
And yeah, we are here for you. Saving folks' lives. If nobody out there decides to take their life, that would be a great day. It would be a great day if I could read the news one morning and nobody died that night. That would be a great day. Well, Stephen, we got a good guest tonight.
Yes, we do.
We do.
He's been on with the boss before.
He has been on with the boss before, and his name is Dennis Henson, and he is a leading authority in the business world with a proven track record spanning over 5 decades. That's a long time.
Yeah.
That is a bit of a long time. He's got a new book, Real Impact, Daily Inspiration, and that is intended to help people develop the habit of reading daily content that will improve their belief in themselves and inspire them to action. I like that. If you can read something that'll motivate you to take action in your life, and I don't care what it is. You could read somebody's life story if that inspires you to take action in your life. And that was that was a good read, especially if it's a positive action in your life. So without any further ado, let's get Dennis in here.
Good evening, Dennis.
Good evening.
Good evening, Dennis.
Thank you very much for having me.
Glad to have you.
We are so glad to have you. We gave just a little bit about you, kind of talked about what you do a little bit, and that you've got a new book. Just go back as far as you want to, start and tell us how we got to where we are today.
Well, I went to college in music, and when I graduated from college, I became a band director. It was a high school band, and North Georgia. It was a small band. And I really wasn't happy. I wanted to be a college band director. So I went back to school, got a master's degree. And then a large high school in Georgia hired me, and I was very successful there. The band marched in the Rose Bowl parade, but I still wanted to be a college band director. So Georgia Tech contacted me and said, come on, we want you to be the band director here. And I thought, well, that's wonderful. You know, that's just a dream. A young guy like me, I was only 27 years old, be a college band director. So I went to Atlanta, and the next day I was to sign the contract. Well, I was visiting with a friend, and back then there wasn't a cell phone. Everybody's phone was connected to the wall or laying on the desk, you know. So the phone rang, and he picked it up, and he had this strange look on his face, and he said, "It's for you." Now, that's strange because I was at a friend's house, and he handed me the phone, and it was a person in Tennessee wanting to have me come up and interview for a job. And I said, no, I'm not coming. I'm not interested. I'm going to be the band director at Georgia Tech. That's my dream, and that's what I'm going to do. And he said, well, look, we'll give you a round trip ticket. We'll pick you up in a limousine. We'll buy you a steak and give you a $25 cigar. Now, that'd be a $250 cigar today. You know, this was 1975. Yeah. So all of that, I didn't smoke. I could have had a steak in Atlanta, but a round trip ticket to get to fly back in 1975 for a young kid that hadn't got to fly much, I thought, well, shoot, I'd go up there and tell them no. So the next day I was on the plane, and they picked me up, like they said, in Memphis in a limousine and drove me to Selma, and we had steaks and took me to the big, beautiful facility. But I still wasn't convinced. And then they started talking money, and they offered me 20 times the salary that Georgia Tech was going to pay me.
Wow.
So I took it.
I would hope so.
Yeah. So the first thing they did was give me 3 books. They gave me Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, The Greatest Salesman in the World by Og Mandino, and Success, the Glenn Bland Method. Okay. I had never read a self-help book in my life. I didn't know anything about self-help or motivation or, you know, positive mental. I didn't know any of that. So when I read those books, something changed. You know, it was like I had taken a drug. I was really motivated. I was on fire. I couldn't wait to get out there and start doing stuff and making money. And I did. I made a lot of money. I bought a home. I bought a Mercedes Benz, and I got married. I had all the toys that a young fella could have. But when I finished those books, I felt like I need more. I like this feeling. I want more books. Well, in 75, there wasn't an internet. There wasn't a Google. Mm-hmm. So the only way you could find out anything was you had to find some successful person and say, what are you reading? And so when they would give me these other books to read, if they were really good, I would make a note in my journal. See, I met Jim Rohn back in the 70s, back before no one knew Jim Rohn. He was just a person like you and me in the 70s. And he insisted that you write everything in the journal. I said, you may need it one day. You don't ever know what's going to happen and what you may do. So I started putting these books, listing these books. And when I would read a poem or a quote, I would make a note of those too, because you might need it for a newsletter, for training. I mean, you don't know. So for 50 years, from 75 to now, that's 50 years worth of books and poems and quotes. I moved to Texas 30 years ago and started investing in real estate. This is a great place to invest in real estate. I made a lot of money.
Yes, it is.
So I wanted to go to real estate investor groups, and they had them in Dallas and they had them in Fort Worth, but I live in Arlington, and Metroplex is really big. I mean, you think going from Arlington, which is right next door to Dallas, 5 minutes. Well, no, it's an hour. It would be an hour, and if there were traffic, it'd be an hour and a half. And the one in Fort Worth was in North Fort Worth, which Fort Worth's very long, and it was an hour. So I thought, well, I'll start a group in Arlington. So I started the AREA, and it became really, really successful. Lots and lots of investors came. And I thought, well, I'll teach some classes. I'll teach some classroom classes. And then if I want to learn about short sales or subject to or private money or anything about real estate, if I have to teach a class, I'm going to learn it really well. I'm going to go out and study it really hard so that when they ask me questions, I'll know the answers and I can use it in my real estate business. So one day, one of the members came up to me. His name was Mike, and he came up and said, Dennis, I'm about to retire. In about 3 weeks, I'm going to retire, and I'm going to let you mentor me, and I'll pay you. And I said, well, I'm not really interested in taking on individual students. I have my real estate business, which takes a lot of time, and then I have all these meetings. I just don't have time to do that. I'm not interested. And he says, well, let me take you out to lunch, and we'll talk about it. So I told my wife, Norma, I said, Norma, I'm going to meet Mike Chase, and I'm going to tell him I'm not going to teach him. I just don't have time. I'm not interested. So once again, we had dinner. He had on a coat like this, and he reached in his pocket. He pulled out a checkbook. He handed it to me, and he said, here, fill this in. And I said, do you mean the amount? And he said, yeah, fill it in. So I thought, okay, this will end this. I put a number there that nobody would pay. I knew it is ridiculous. He took the checkbook, tore the check out, put his name on it, and handed it back to me and never even looked at the amount. Never.
Wow.
Even. So that's when I started teaching. So I knew
was your first stop?
Charge, and I had people lined up to take real estate training from me. So I had over 400 students over the next 15 years. People would ask me to come to the real estate groups to speak. I spoke in other countries. I spoke at expos. I mean, I was in great demand because people wanted to know, why are your students so successful? So one day on a podcast, it was back when podcasts were first getting started. Mm-hmm. The host said, Dennis, what makes your students so successful? Well, I just smiled and said, look, I have them change their habits. If they can form success habits, they'll become successful. It's really pretty much that simple. And then they said, what is the number one success habit that they should form? And I said, well, they need to form the habit of reading something positive every day that leads them toward their goal. So after the podcast, I thought, that was really the right answer. Wouldn't it be great if there was some kind of a tool, if there were an app or a book or a tool of some kind to help people form that habit? And then it hit me. I mean, it was almost like a religious experience. It shook me. I said, Dennis, you've been collecting books that were powerful for 50 years and quotes and poems and short stories. If you put those in a book, people can form that habit regardless of their time. If they have 5 minutes, they can read a poem. If they get home, they're exhausted, they go to bed. Oh, I forgot to read a quote. 5 seconds, 10 seconds to read a quote. If you're at the airport, you got 30 minutes to read a short story or one of the books listed in the back. So I thought, I have all this stuff in my journal. I put it down and, in 2 months, I'll have a book.
Yeah.
I worked on that book for 6 years. 6 years. It got published last year. And so I had it published in hardcover and softcover, and it's on Amazon. But when I put it on Amazon, people started reviewing it, and they loved it. I mean, I have over 100 reviews and a 5-star rating. Now, if there's any authors listening, they'll tell you that's not easy to do. It's really not, because you put your book up, you're lucky if you get 2 ratings or 3.
Yeah.
To get 100, and there's still 5 stars. So I thought, well, this is great. People love the book. I need to get the word out, because what people were saying was, this book changed my life. This is amazing. This is not like any other motivational book I've ever read. And I thought, well, how am I going to get the word out? So that's why I'm here. That's how I got to, you ask, how did I get here? I got here because I thought, well, podcasts, that's what got me here. And it's a good way to get the word out. And the truth is, I'm going to give everybody that tunes in a free ebook. No charge, no strings. You know, if you just go to realimpactbook.com, scroll down to the bottom where it says podcast attendee, you put your name and email there, and your download is instant. You don't have to wait till tomorrow. It's instant. You can have it before this podcast is over. And if
listeners, did you hear that? Go to the website, click on the link, and say that you were a podcast attendee, and you get the free ebook. We've already got a question, Dennis.
Okay, what is it?
From Success Seeker 22. You've studied success for decades. What daily habit has made the biggest impact on your life?
Forming the habit of reading something positive every day that moves you toward your goal. Now, Jake, there's a hidden secret in there.
Okay.
And that's this. You have to have a goal. You can't do this. It's not magic unless you have a goal. The book has a picture of Aladdin's lamp on the front. You see the lamp?
Yes, sir.
Okay, there's a story about Aladdin who found a magic lamp, and he rubbed it, and the genie came out. And what did the genie say?
He basically thanked him for releasing him from the lamp.
Right. Yes.
And gave him 3 wishes.
That's right. He said, what do you want? He had to make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want? And look, if people don't make that decision, they just wake up every morning and go to work, come home, drink a beer, watch TV, go to bed, that's not really going to motivate them. They need to have something that they really want. Like my wife wanted to go to Europe. I mean, she had a burning desire to go to Europe. I didn't have any choice. When somebody's got a burning desire, you're going to, you better get out of the way, because I mean, she got the airline ticket, she planned the trip, all I had to do was get in the plane. So if you can develop a want or a need, it changes your life. It makes life worth living, makes it worthwhile. And people say, yes, but I don't know my purpose in life. Well, Stephen, let me tell you what. If you just be quiet and listen to your inner voice, it will say, you have a desire to do this. Maybe you want to be a doctor. Maybe you want to be an electrician. Maybe you want to be an engineer. Maybe you want to be an attorney. One of the stories in the books about Abraham Lincoln, who had less than a first grade education. He had no money. He was sleeping in a friend's house. And when he came into possession of some books, they were old English law books, and he read them and he loved them. So he started going to court and watching the trials. And when he got into courtroom, he looked around and he thought, I'm at home. This is what I'm meant to be. So here's someone with no money and no education, barely could speak English, and he decided, I'm going to pass the bar. I'm going to become an attorney. And he did. Now, that was a miracle. I mean, it really was. He went on to become the president of the United States. But once you find that thing that you really want, and then you use the book, read something positive every day to move you in that direction, there's more to the book than it seems, because it's a rudder on a boat. It keeps you pointed in the same direction. If every day you've got to read something that's going to move you in that direction, it reminds you every day, here's what I want. So this is a very powerful book. I mean, it really is. And I would suggest that everybody go to Amazon and read the reviews, because if I don't convince you, they will.
All right. And just to remind everybody, the name of the book is Real Impact Daily Inspiration. And you can find that anywhere books are sold,
Right.
Amazon. And remember to go to the link on the website, and you're going to get you a digital copy.
Right. Now, on that digital copy, when you put your name and address in, your address is not going to go on a mailing list. I don't need a mailing list. I have a mailing list of 800,000 people already, so I don't need another name. But if you want to know when I write other books, there is a link there that you click on. It says, notify me when you have other books. That's
Okay.
the only way you'll hear from me. This is no strings. But when you read this book, you're going to think, oh man, this would really help Johnny. I mean, I need to get this book to him. Or I have a nephew that's graduating this year. This is a perfect time for them to form their habit of where they want to be in life. This is a great gift. I mean, you couldn't think of a better, and it's inexpensive. I mean, the deluxe edition is less than $50. It's just $35, and the paperback's just $13.95. So,
Okay.
what could you find a better gift for a smaller price?
Yes. And I think you was correct. You was talking about starting early, get that for somebody as a high school graduation gift or a college graduation gift, and just, go forth.
Right.
and do your thing.
Jake, my aunt gave me a graduation present when I graduated from college in 1973. It was a book, and I still have it. So if you want to give a legacy, if you're a grandparent or an aunt or an uncle, you want to give somebody a gift they'll keep forever, give them this hardback. People don't throw hardback beautiful books away. They put them on their bookshelf and keep them forever. And
Yes.
if you put a little inscription in there, they'll remember you forever until they die, and then their children will have it.
Yes. Well, I'm a country boy. We give each other guns, but
yeah. We had a gun rack on our truck when I was growing up in Alabama. I know what you're talking about. Actually, we had a double. We had a rifle and a shotgun.
oh, we got us a question here from Wu-Tang for Real, asking the ToosDay Crue, we're a great duo. When are you going to do a live tour? Well, hey, Wu-Tang, I doubt that's ever going to happen. We might end up together at a NASCAR race somewhere and do a little live show, but we don't have anybody beating down our door for us to come speak. So,
and where I love you all, I'm not traveling 900 miles to go hang out and do live shows every night.
Well, if you know someone that's looking for a speaker, though, I'm easy to find. Just go to Google, type my name in, or go to realimpactbook.com and say contact us. So I'm available for speaking. I do a lot of speaking.
all right.
I got another question in here.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
No,
That one's
that's the one. At Monkey Fist, is there one practice that you believe separates high achievers from the rest?
One practice that separates high achievers from the rest. When I was writing the book, I came up with an acronym to underline what the people in the book, the stories in the book are all high achievers. Okay. They all had these things in common. I live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, so it's DFW, and I live in Arlington, A. That's my acronym, DFWA. These things set you apart. Desire, burning desire, faith, will, and action. DFWA, desire. If you really want something badly enough, you're probably going to get it. And then you have to believe Henry Ford said, if a fellow believes he can do something, he's probably right. If a fellow believes he can't do something, he's probably right. And then will is getting up more times than you're knocked down. I mean, it's just that simple. If you just keep getting up and getting up and getting up, eventually you'll break through. That's just the law of nature. And then action is the conduit between where you are and where you want to be. You can sit there and hope it comes to you and pray it comes to you, and it might come to you. But the shortest distance is get up and go, go do it, And when people are depressed or have problems and they feel like the world's caving in on them, the number one medicine is finding something you really want and going after it, so that when you wake up every morning, the very first thing you think about is, I'm going to work on that today, and it's going to be fine, and I'm going to accomplish a lot. It's life-changing. It sincerely is life-changing.
All right. If you could give one piece of advice to someone just starting, what would it be?
Read. Get this book. I'm giving it to you. Go to the back where it lists the books. It's got them in priority order. This is the best one, the next best one, the next best one. Number 80 is almost as good as number 1. And read every single day. It will these books they're habit form. It's like taking a drug. I don't know. Have y'all ever read Think and Grow Rich? No?
No.
Well, you need to go read it, because it will set you on fire. I mean, it literally will. It's like a drug, and you'll think, well, I got to have another one of these and another one and another one, which is a pretty good habit to have. It's a good drug to take. And another good drug to take is the G vitamin. Do you know what the G vitamin is?
The gold vitamin?
It lowers your blood pressure. It makes you live longer. It reduces heart attack and stroke. Makes people like you more. The G vitamin is gratitude.
Gratitude. Okay. Yes. Yes.
Be thankful for what you have. You got fingers? Be happy you got fingers. You can talk, you can see, you can hear, you can smell, you can get up, you can breathe, you're alive. You have people who love you, that you love. You got your dog. Lord, I mean, there's so much to be the country we live in. I mean, people all over the world want to be here. This is just, you're free to do what you want to do. Well, go out and do something and be happy about it, and be grateful for what you have.
Yes, I wake up every morning and I make it a point to thank God that He allowed me to wake up. That was, because if you don't wake up, you can't succeed or fail that day. So
exactly. When I do a speech, I tell people about the Millionaire. When I was a kid, you probably remember John Bears for Tifton gave $1 million. Michael Anthony would go find these people and give them $1 million. And so I'll say, well, what if I gave you $1 million? Anybody in the audience want $1 million? And all their hands would go up. I'd say, well, when Michael Anthony gave the $1 million, it had a string attached. You couldn't tell anybody. You could spend the money, but you couldn't tell anybody you had it or where you got it.
Yep.
So I said, well, what if I gave you $1 million with just one string attached? Who would want it? Every hand would go up. And I'd say, here's the string. You don't wake up tomorrow. Today's your last day. Now, how many want the $1 million? No hands go up.
I wouldn't take it.
And I say, so when you wake up in the morning, are you going to say, well, I'm glad I got this day. I paid $1 million for it. I was willing to give $1 million for this day. So be happy that you're there. I wake up happy every morning. I'm just a happy person. I have a positive mental attitude. So,
but if you look at it, each day you're granted is priceless.
That's right.
So,
It
you know,
is.
it is. We got another question here.
Okay.
Darn. You have such a big mailing list. You said, they think you said about thousands. How do they interact with you?
Well, they're all real estate investors. I had I had the largest real estate investing group on Meetup. It had 10,000 members, and I collected. It's pretty easy to get real estate investors because they're always emailing other people about deals that they have and everything. So back then, I would offer them to come to my meeting, and I was teaching. So that's the reason that I always had a line of people wanting me to teach them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, back in 2018, I had some health problems. I actually had a pretty bad stroke, and I lost my eyesight. I couldn't walk. I was, strokes are not good to you.
No.
So when I came out, I stopped teaching, and I devoted my life to becoming healthy again. I did everything. My goal was, I didn't want to look like I had a stroke. I didn't want to feel like I had a stroke. I wanted to be happy and healthy, be able to do things with my wife. And so, you can look at me. I'm 77 years old, and I feel great. I feel better than I did before. But it was because I had a burning desire to get better, and to become healthy and be able to think clearly. There's a lot of people my age that, have a hard time getting a sentence out.
Yes.
We had one for the president. So, but anybody can improve anything if they make it a burning desire and have faith and read about it and do the things. So anyway, I interacted with them by, I would send them tips. If you go to YouTube right now and type in my name, you can see about 15 years of tips, of videos that I put on.
Okay.
People would sign up to get on the tips and so forth. So I tried to help people out, but most of that email list is probably, not useful anymore. I haven't used it in over 5 years. So, but I still have it.
All right. Got a question here from Mindset Matters 2407. And he said, you said something about the 7 secrets of success the last time on the show.
Yes.
Which one do people struggle with the most?
Well, the 7, let me tell you what they are first.
Okay.
The 7 secrets are: get your mind right. You have to believe, you have to have a burning desire, you have to have faith. That's getting your mind right. Positive mental attitude. The second one is to seek wisdom. Read every day. Mm-hmm. Listen to YouTube. Talk to people who are already what you want to be. The third one is to develop skills, and that is, in any business or sport, there's certain skills that have to be mastered. A good example would be like basketball. If you're going to play basketball, you better be able to dribble and shoot. You better have some defensive moves. You got to be able to pass. You got to be able to run. If you can't do any one of those things, you can't play basketball, or not successfully. So in real estate, the skills are mining, money, maintenance, marketing, and management. But it doesn't matter what business or what it is you're trying to do. There are a set of skills. You got to go find out what they are by reading. And then you need to work on those skills every day. The next one is to make detailed plans. If you're going to build a house, you better make some good plans, or you'll get the house finished and the plumbing, you'll have to tear the floor up and put the plumbing in. So detailed plans are very important. And then the next one is taking massive action. And they ask, what's the hardest one? What's the one that most people have a trouble with? That's it. Taking massive action. And massive action means if you plan to do something and the sun's shining and you feel good, you don't have a cold, everything's wonderful, you go out and do more than what you planned. Let's say in real estate, you're going to go look at 10 houses. But if the sun's shining, you feel good, maybe go look at 20.
Yeah.
But if it's snowing and you have a cold and you feel awful, you just don't want to get out of bed, you still go see your 10. That's massive. I mean, that's massive. Most people are not willing to do that. But my students did, because if they didn't, I kicked them in the butt. So that's why my students were successful, because I was pushing them. You know, if you're, well, look at Nick Saban. You know, he pushed those kids. I mean, he was constantly pushing them to be better and to make the best out of their time and what they could do. And then form great alliances. What we're doing today, me talking with you, is a great alliance. You're helping me and I'm helping you, and that's good for everybody. And plus everybody that's listening in, we're helping them by giving them a way to have a better and happier life. And then the last one is being persistent. And if you do all the others, get your mind right, you know, take massive action, being persistent is not really that hard. You know, you just keep going when you get knocked down. And here's a little tip. Everybody has problems. If you don't have a problem right now, you better look out, you're going to have one, because nature does not permit vacuums. So if you don't have a problem, that's a vacuum. And you're going to have one, and it may not be pleasant, and I'm sorry to tell you that, but life is filled with problems. So one of the quotes in the book says, I no longer have problems, I have projects. The difference in a problem and a project is you can worry about a problem, but you can do something about a project. So if you just move your problem over into projects and say, what can I do about this? And start doing it, before long, you solve the problem. And you're going to have to do that if you're in business. That's what business means. Solving problems. You just have to solve one right after another, and then another one's going to come along. But I enjoy it. It's a game to me.
I understand. And mindset matters 24/7. I hope that answered your question. Thank you for putting that out there for us. And again, always, listeners, we love all your questions. So there was one up there just a little bit ago. Let me find it here. Okay, it was from Groupie77. If you guys started a boy band, what would the name be, and who's the lead singer? Not it. Okay, I'm not going to be the lead singer. So Stephen, you've got that part.
Well, we can have Mr. Producer do that, and we can just be background noise. You know.
What would we call ourselves?
That I don't know.
The over the hill gang.
I was going to say the old guys on the block.
Yeah.
There you go, old guys on the block.
Thank you for that question.
Good.
I love it. Now, Dennis, tell us a little bit. How is the book structured, and why did you specifically design it the way you did?
The book has, the very first thing in the book is testimonials, because nobody had read my book. It was the first book I had written. It wasn't on real estate. So I contacted my students and said, would you write a testimonial about your training? And so the first part of the book is what they said about the training. And they usually ended by saying, you better listen to what he says, because he'll change your life. And I thought, well, that's pretty good. So the next part of the book is an introduction and how to use the book. Now, the book is not meant to be read through and through. It's not like, that's not the kind of book it is. You just read a little bit and contemplate what you read, because if you just read it straight through, you're going to miss a lot. It'd be like picking the Bible up, reading it from cover to cover and expecting to get anything out of it.
I was going to ask that if it was something like the Bible, you kind of got to read it a chapter or a few verses at a time.
Exactly. You have to contemplate what you've read and trying to make it a part of your life, because it's so potent. I had over 100 stories, and I ended up putting 33 in the book. And the hardest part of writing the book was eliminating the ones that I was not going to use. I had to tell myself, okay, I'm going to write other books. I can put these stories in other books. And the criteria was this: if the story didn't bring tears to my eyes, I didn't put it in the book. Now that's a pretty high bar, because I've read these stories 1,000 times. And then I read it again and the tears come in my eyes. That's a pretty powerful story.
Yes.
So and they're wonderful stories, but the people struggled so hard to try to succeed, and they just got knocked down, and it was just merciless, and they would just continue to get up, and finally they broke through and became super successful. I mean, you pretty much know every name in the book, because they're just ageless successes, like Sylvester Stallone, Abraham Lincoln, Walt Disney. Well, there's 33 of them. I can't name them all, but
I understand.
The next part of the book is long short stories. So if you want to read for 35 or 40 minutes, there's some long short stories. And then there's short stories. Then there's poems, which are smaller. Then there's quotes, which are just a few words. And then there's a list of the books in the back. So it was put together that way so that regardless of your time limitations, you can fit it in every day. And if you do that for a year, after I got out of the hospital with a stroke, I started walking every day. And I, at first, my wife had to walk me down to the end of the cul-de-sac, hold my arm. I couldn't stand up. But I finally got to I could walk miles, and I walked miles every day. So when I first started that habit, I would dread it. I would think, oh my gosh, I get so tired, and it's so far, and it takes so much time. But after about a year, it got to where, well, I'm going to walk today. After 2 years, I thought, well, where's my dog? Let's go get my earphone, get my dog. I'm going to go walking. So getting over that hump is the hard part in forming a habit. But this book makes it easy, because it's a fun book to read. And I'm not telling you that because I wrote it. The stories were good before I put them in there.
Okay.
I mean, they were just good stories, and you're going to love them. Everybody does. Go to Amazon and read what they say. So it's a fun book to read. So it makes it really easy to form that habit.
Oh, trust me, I'm going to go to Amazon and check out those reviews. Got another question up here from Jimmy and Dem. Thank you, Jimmy. With the market constantly changing, do you think real estate investing is still the best path to wealth?
It's the shortest distance for a normal person to get from where they are to becoming wealthy. A big part of my life, I was always looking for this product, this wonderful product that everybody wants, and it's always going to be needed. I was watching Survivor one day, and I thought, the first thing these people need when they crawl, when they get up on the beach or out in the jungle, is shelter. That's the first thing, because if they build a fire and it rains that night, it's going to put the fire out.
Yep.
And if they want water, well, you got to boil the water. So if the fire's out, shelter is the first thing. And then I thought back, well, wait a minute. When people started living on the earth, one of the first things they needed was a place to stay. They needed a cave or a lean-to or something. And when people stop living on the earth, there'll still be people looking for a place to stay. So what better product could there be than real estate? I mean, I only do single family. There's like 1,000 different ways you can do real estate. I mean, you can do commercial, you can do multifamily, you can develop property. Yeah. But single family homes are in the biggest demand that you could ever possibly have. And they're plentiful. If they're not plentiful where you live, find the nearest pretty good sized city, and there'll be plenty of houses there. And people have what? They have problems. When they have problems, it causes them to want to move out of that house, and you can help them with their problem by taking it over for them. So the answer to the question is I absolutely believe real estate. And I've got 5 books coming out you might want to check out. So if you go to realimpactbook.com, go to the bottom and get your free ebook. If you click on that little tag there that says, tell me when you have your books coming out, I'm going to have a book a month coming out this year on real estate and on business. I'm doing I'm doing how to get started, all the money you'll ever need, the 5 M's, which are the skills, and one other. I'm doing 5. Oh, it's the Royal Flush. Those are the real estate books. But the motivational books are The Laws of Nature, Real Impact 2, Real Impact 3, and the 7 Secrets of Success.
Okay.
So I should have 12 books out by the end of the year, one every month.
All right. I encourage our listeners to go check them out.
All right, we have last question coming up now from that Sunshine Cloudsman. You're pretty resilient coming back from the health crisis. Where do you believe you got your resilience from? Thank you, Sunshine, for that question.
It's from all the years I've been reading these motivational books. I understood that I could have anything I wanted, and when I came out of the hospital, I knew what I wanted. I wanted to get well. I wanted to live a long time. And, I did all these things. I have a sauna in my house because if you do a sauna 4 times a week, you're going to live 40% longer. Okay, it's important. It's important. I walk every day. I take all kinds of supplements, and I don't eat bad stuff. I don't, eat seed oil. I don't take any dairy products. I don't do table salt. I don't do sugar. But it's funny, when I first started that diet, I thought, I'm going to starve to death. This is awful. But now my wife's learned to cook, things that are really, really good. I mean, I eat better now than I did back when I was eating poorly. So if you set your mind to it, you can figure it out. But I really give these books, like Think and Grow Rich is so powerful. It's such a powerful book. It can help you pretty much through anything if you believe what you're reading. Okay. It's kind of like the Bible. If you believe what you're reading, it will help you. And if you don't, it won't. Kind of like that.
All right. Hey, we've already been in here almost an hour.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it. Something we do with all of our guests. I need from you 3 non-negotiables every day that basically has to happen to make your day your day. Okay. Whether it's, I'll let you tell yours. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, the first thing I do every morning is gratitude. That's the first thing. I go over. I have so many things I have to write them down because I just don't want to leave one out. I want to be grateful for my family, and I name each one of them. I'm eating my dog, and I'm grateful for my office and my staff, and I name each one of those. And I'm grateful for my senses, that I can hear and smell and see and feel and think, and the list goes on. And I would suggest that you'd add to it all the time. So that's one thing I do. Another thing I do every single day is I write on my book every day. It was a trade. I told God or the universe, whatever you want to say, I want this, and in return, I'll give you this. This is what I'm going to do in order to get it. That's a pretty good combination. Okay. Yeah. So I have to write every day because it's helping people. I'm leaving a legacy. I'll be helping people. When you read a book, like Napoleon Hill's been dead for over 50 years, or Agmendino, when you read their book, you're literally talking. They're talking to you. Mm-hmm. Their brain is talking to your brain, even though they're gone. So when I'm gone 50 years from now, people will still be benefiting because I was here. And that's important. And so if you're willing to give something in return, whatever it is you want is coming to you faster. I mean, it speeds to you so much faster, but you cannot, if you promise to do it, you got to do it.
Yeah.
And the third one is I walk every day. And I love it. I love it. I got my earphones on. I'm listening to YouTube, something positive and something, educational. And there's a bunch of other things. Those are the top three.
All right. Well, Dennis, it's been great having you on here. I learned a lot, and I can't wait to get in there and download that book. Remember, everybody, the name of the book is Real Impact Daily Inspiration. If you want to go look at the reviews before you buy it, go to Amazon, read the reviews of it, and see what you think. And we would like to hear what you think of it. If you just want to drop us an email and let us know about it. And Misfit Nation, as always, we love you. Thank you for your questions this evening. Somebody I forgot to mention, it slipped by when they wrote in a question, was I Love Kamala. Thank you for your question this evening. Remember to like and subscribe, share it, get it out there to all your friends. And Stephen, any parting words?
I'm thinking if they start emailing the questions just for you and me, we can make a show without a guest and just answer all those questions.
Hey, you know what?
More and more about us and less sometimes. We got to keep it even.
Yeah, we can maybe for our yearly season ender, we could do that.
Season ender, our first anniversary special. We'll have
our first anniversary
just to show people asking us questions.
Yes, we could. And for all those out there that track this, no, I do not have on pants tonight. So
until you said that, I thought we were going to have a boy band, but I think I changed my mind.
That's kind of an inside joke with me and Steven. He always tells everybody I don't wear pants when I'm on the show.
Dennis, thank you again.
Dennis, thank you again. Thank you, Misfit Nation. We love you, and we will see you on the ToosDay Crue next week.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks a lot.
Yep.
Thank you.
This message is from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Did you serve in the military? If so, you can obtain a free lifetime pass to more than 2,000 federal recreation sites. These sites are located across more than 400 million acres of public lands, including national parks, wildlife refuges, and forests. The lands host activities to fit any lifestyle: hiking, biking, fishing, camping, and much more. Gold Star families are also eligible for these free lifetime passes. Plus, they cover entrance fees for a driver and all passengers in a car, or up to 3 additional adults at sites that charge per person. Obtaining one is easy. Just go to the National Park Service website, nps.gov, or the National Park Service app.
Thanks for checking us out and being a part of the Misfit Nation show. Don't forget to visit our website at themisfitnation.com. That's themisfitnation.com. Check out all our past episodes and get some of the great Misfit Nation gear for you and your family. As always, be humble, stay hungry, and keep hustling, because we are
Misfit Nation. Misfit Nation.